Right, good morning everyone. So welcome back to another Facebook live video, and today we're going to be doing some good morning yoga. So I am wearing my pajamas, so absolutely fine if you're in your dressing gowns and slippers and pajamas, because we're going to take it a little bit slower. So with these good morning sessions, it's very early, so well done if you've managed to get up for the live version of it. And in the mornings our bodies are just usually a little bit tighter, so we're going to be taking it slow. We're going to be moving with some like gentle movements, gentle twists, some gentle hip openers and stuff like that. So a very mellow class. Now if you can't make the live version, don't worry, you can watch this at any time at your leisure. And things you might need today, you might want a dressing gown cord. So I have mine right here. And if you don't have a dressing gown cord, then maybe you want a towel or something like that, because we're going to be playing around with a few sort of shoulder binds. And if you can't quite catch the bind, if your shoulders are a little bit tight this morning, and whose aren't, then you might need something to help you. So a dressing gown cord or a towel or a yoga strap if you are extra prepared, that would be really handy. And then another thing you might need is a block or a pillow, because we're going to be doing some seated postures and you might just want to prop your bum up a little bit. But I think that's it. Obviously I say this at the beginning of every yoga class, and especially every online yoga class. If anything hurts, don't do it. If you experience any sharp and shooting pain, then move back from the posture, especially in the mornings, because I don't know about you, but I sleep curled up in a little ball. So sometimes things are a little bit more sensitive, sometimes things take a little bit longer to open up. But I think that's about it. And we're just gonna crack on with some gentle good morning yoga. So we're going to start on our backs, you'll be pleased to know, but just don't fall asleep, okay? I know it's early, but we're going to come onto our mat, we're going to lie down on our backs. This is dangerous, isn't it? And we're going to bring the soles of the feet together and just let the knees fall out sideways. Alright? So if this really isn't comfortable right here, feel free to just bend the knees and have the soles of the feet on the floor. Otherwise, gently letting the knees fall out sideways, and then you can rest the hand on the belly, you can rest the hands on the inner thighs, or you can just place the hands either side of the body, palms up. Just find a comfortable position for your arms here. And if you have placed the soles of the feet together, and if you are letting the knees fall out sideways, this is a really lovely passive way to stretch into the groin and the hips. Tight hips sometimes lead to a tight lower back, so this is a good position to lie in, at least for a couple minutes every day. It's quite comfortable as well. And then, like I said, we don't want to fall asleep right now. I know it's tempting, but just try and start bringing some awareness to your body, your breath. So we're trying to just slow the breath right down, and it's always a nice idea to start the day with a couple of conscious breaths. So nice deep inhales through the nose, and then we're also exhaling through the nose as well. Trying to make the inhales and exhales equal in length if possible, and finding a slow, steady rhythm that you can maintain, that's sustainable for you. And then just taking your attention around the body, how do you feel this morning? So like I said, things are a little bit tighter in the mornings usually. Our yoga practice can look totally different at 7 AM than it does 7 PM. So moving mindfully through the postures today, and not beating yourself up if you don't manage to get as deep as you usually would. So it takes time for the muscles to wake up. But this is why we're doing good morning yoga. So noticing any areas of tension, any injuries that you need to be mindful of, just so that we can be aware of how we move. And then before we fall asleep, we best begin, so gently draw your knees together, slow as you can. Take both feet down the mat, point the toes, arms overhead, then take a big cat stretch here. So longest stretch you've probably taken so far. So pointing the toes, lifting the hands, and just really sort of relishing this stretch. So ankles, tops of the legs, lower back, you might feel an arch lift there. The shoulders lift up by the ears. And then exhale, hug your knees into your chest and rock from side to side. So we're using the hands around the knees or the shins to make circles, keeping the back of the head on the floor. And we're undoing any tension now that may have built up in the lower back overnight. So yeah, I sleep curled up in like the tiniest little ball, so my back is usually quite stiff in the morning. So this is just a lovely thing to do to bring some mobility into that area. Squeezing the thighs up towards the belly. Okay, and then bringing both feet to the mat. So this is going to be quite a gentle class today. So we're going to start with a couple of postures to open up our groin, our hamstrings, our hip flexors. So just extend your left leg down the mat. And to begin with, we're going to bring a little bit of effort into that left leg. So left toes pull back and left toes face the ceiling. Take hold of your right shin below the knee. And if this hurts your knee, back of the right thigh is absolutely fine. Inhale here, then exhale, just squeeze the right thigh in towards the tummy. Okay, so knee to chest pose. So what we're looking for over time, we want the shoulders to be relaxed, so the shoulders drop down rather than roll forward. The chest is broad. The chin tucks in ever so slightly towards the chest, so the back of the neck is long. And then we're gently seeing if we can close the gap between the right thigh and the tummy. So don't worry if this isn't happening, it's just the direction we're moving in. Stretching into the groin, right quad, right hip flexor. And feel free to shut your eyes in this session today, but just stay really conscious of the breath. So we don't want to be sleepy, we're trying to wake up. So that slow, steady rhythm through the nose. And then we're just going to wake the ankles up now. So very gently start to make a circle with your right ankle. Now this can feel a little bit crunchy. So don't worry about any sort of clicking or crunching. Obviously we just don't want any pain. So make these rotations as slow as you can and use your breath to guide the movement. As we rotate the right ankle, we're still easing the right thigh back towards the stomach and still keeping the chest as broad as possible. And then don't forget about the left foot. We still want the left toes facing the ceiling, and we're trying to ground down through the left calf as well. So if your groin's a bit tight, that left calf may lift, but over time trying to ground it, pressing down through the left heel, bring the stretch into that left calf as well. So quite a lot to be aware of, even in a gentle posture like this. And then start to make that rotation in the opposite direction with the right ankle. Showing our feet some love. We often forget about how important our feet are. Important to work into this area. Okay, a few more rounds of this. Maybe see if you can ease that right thigh back a smidgen more. Okay, and then stop making that rotation with the right ankle. Just let your left foot relax now, because we're going to take this into a twist. So keep hold of the right shin with the left hand. Extend your right arm out to the side, palm down. Inhale here, then exhale, gently guide the right leg over towards the left. Take it easy. So now the left foot just travels with the twist. Your right sit bone is going to pick up off the floor. And then the only thing really we want to make sure of here is that the right shoulder stays down. So that's where the stretch starts from. And it's quite a deep line twist. So always moving cautiously, feeling that stretch come into the lower back, but also the right glute. Alright, so taking a couple more breaths here. Just trying to relax every single muscle we don't need, so we're not engaging anything. And And then inhale, leg back to center. Beautiful. Right leg straight. Ow. Give your straight legs a shake. I told you things are a little bit tighter in the mornings. And then we'll change sides. So to begin with, let's just keep a little bit of effort in that right leg. So right toes face the ceiling, take hold of the left shin below the knee. Inhale here, and then exhale, gently squeezing left thigh back towards the tummy. Alright, so noticing if one side feels a bit tighter than the other, usually does. And we'll just hold this stretch here. Remember our action points. So trying to ground down through the right calf, keeping the shoulders rolling back, the chin tucks in so the neck is long. And then with every exhale, maybe seeing if we can ease that left thigh back a smidgen more. Stretching into the groin, left hip flexor, left quad. And we're going to take this into the left ankle as well, so start making that rotation. Waking up the ankles, using the breath to guide the movement. It's a nice way to wake up, isn't it? Nice gentle stretches to wake up with. And then if you have your eyes closed, just remember we don't want to feel sleepy. So just really focus on the breath, focus on the sensations in the body and stay really mindful with what you're doing. Okay, lovely. And then make that rotation in the opposite direction. You just do this for 50 minutes. Okay, doing really well. Then stop making that rotation. Just see if maybe you can squeeze the left thigh back a smidge more. And then we're going to be taking this into our lovely twist. So let the right leg relax now. Keep hold of the left shin with the right hand. Your left arm's going to extend out to the side, palms down. Inhale here, then exhale. Gently guide left leg towards the right. I'm a bit creaky today. So that left sit bone is going to lift. Right leg's going to relax with the twist, and then if your neck's okay, just turn and look over that left shoulder. And keep that left shoulder down and feel the stretch lower back, left glute, maybe just top of the left leg. And into it, so not engaging any muscles, really heavy, and there really is no need to just sort of like use the right hand to pull the leg over massively. The right hand is just there for a bit of gentle weight. Okay, and then inhale back to center. Alright, take your foot to the floor, straighten your legs. We're going to take another cat stretch, so point toes, arms overhead, lengthen. Make whatever noises you want. You're at home, you can do whatever you want. Have a sip of coffee. And then exhale, hug your knees into the chest, rock from side to side, and make some circles. Waking the body up bit by bit. Keep the back of the head on the floor as you do this. And then keep squeezing the thighs in towards the belly. And then exhale, feet to the floor. All right, hamstrings. That's a nice gentle posture over. Now it's time to wake up our hamstrings. So this might be where you want to get your towel or your dressing gown cord if you know your hamstrings are tight. We'll see how we get on. So leave your left knee bent, left foot on the floor. And we're going to see if we can take hold of the back of the right thigh with both hands. Now at this point, if the shoulders and the back of the head start curling out like this, you're going to want to use a strap or a dressing gown or a towel so that you can keep the shoulders relaxed and keep the back of the head down. So wherever you are as you inhale, I'm really sorry about this. Right leg up. Ooh, ow, okay. Right hamstring. Hello, good morning. So, you know, take it easy. Feel free to bend that right knee if you need to. Otherwise, we're seeing if we can straighten the leg as much as possible and really work those right toes back. So feeling that lovely, tiggly, not so subtle stretch in the back of your right leg. So your left foot is just resting on the floor. We're not pressing down into it, because if we press down into it, the base of the spine's going to lift, and we want that to stay down. Like I said, shoulders as relaxed as possible, and then holding the stretch with every exhale, maybe easing the right toes a little bit higher above the face. my leg's shaking, your leg might be shaking, totally normal. Okay, muscles I haven't woken up properly yet, so we're going to be holding this just for a little while. Again, feel free to shut your eyes, just be mindful. So focus on the sensations in the back of the right leg. Focus on your steady breath. I've got an Elvis leg going on here. Okay, lovely. Doing really, really well. Just see maybe if you can straighten that right leg a fraction more. You might want to bring some effort into the right quad if you fancy making this a little bit more active. And another thing we can do to make this posture a little bit more challenging if you choose is to bring the groin into it, which means as you inhale, we are going to extend the left leg down the mat as well. Work down through the left calf and pull the left toes back. So now both legs are as straight as you can make them. All right. Nice, slow, steady breaths. I was staring at my leg. I'm just laughing at how much my leg is shaking. I mean, I'm not a nutter, so I probably won't be doing this. But if you are a nutter, if you're feeling very flexible this morning for whatever reason, feel free to just take your hands up towards your calf, maybe the foot, but only do this if your shoulders can stay down. So there's no point taking the foot if you're like, in the upper body. So you can move the hands up the leg as long as you can keep those shoulders nice and broad, all right? Nice, slow, deep breaths. We're going to be holding this just for a little bit longer. Remember, we still want that left foot to be doing something, so if you've noticed your left leg has relaxed, don't let it, so left toes face the ceiling. Doing really well, few more moments. Woo. And then exhale, bend right leg down the mat and give your legs a shake. Alright, other side. So just bear in mind one side might be tighter than the other, so this could be your flexible leg or your tight leg. So just take it easy. Changing sides. Right foot on the floor, right knee bent to begin with, and then take a hold of the back of the left thigh. Remember, this is the point where you want to use your strap or your towel if your hamstrings are a little bit tight today. And then as you inhale, extending left leg up. Oh, all right. A lot of noises from me today. So let's remember our action points. Feel free to have a little bend in that left leg if it's all getting a bit brutal. Otherwise, keeping that leg as straight as possible and working the left toes back. So we're shooting up through that left heel. Right foot is resting on the mat. And then your shoulders, see if you can draw them down. Chin tucks in, breaths nice and steady. So this is my problem hamstring. It seems to be 10 times as tight as my right hamstring, but that's just the way our bodies work. Okay, so noticing these things so that we can start moving through life with a better body awareness. If we know what side's weak and what sides are tight, we can either work them more, try and strengthen them more, spend a bit more time opening them up perhaps. So in yoga, we're always trying to find a balance, balance the right and the left sides, balance the strength and the flexibility. All right, lovely. And then just see how you feel. And then if you fancy a little bit more, we're going to be straightening the right leg down the mat. And then seeing if you can ground down through right calf. Keeping the right toes facing the ceiling. And then if you are a little bit of a go-getter, feel free to move the hands up the leg to the calf or the foot. I'm not going to do it because I don't need to do it because I am on my edge right here. So that's just an option. And also you're at home, so this gives you like the perfect opportunity to really dial your practice back. When you're in like a led class, sometimes you will do postures, and I speak for myself as well, because other people are doing them, and you want to sort of keep up with them. But when you're at home, you have this perfect opportunity to listen to your body. No one's watching, there's no one to compare yourself to. So you can actually truthfully decide what you need on that day. I'm doing a lot of talking today. So holding it for a few more moments, maybe seeing if you can bring left toes a little bit higher above the face, if that's appropriate. And then exhale. Oh, gently bend that leg and straighten the legs down the mat. All right, take a cat stretch. Make yourself as long as you can. And then exhale, hug your knees into your chest, rock from side to side. Make some circles, back of the head on the floor. And then however you need to, we're picking ourselves up and coming into seated. Right, I feel like we've done some leg stuff now, that's pretty good. So we're going to be doing some seated postures now. As you come into your cross-leg position, some people say come into a comfortable cross-leg position, but if your hips are tight, your knees probably are going to be up here and everything will feel very uncomfortable. You remedy this by grabbing a pillow or grabbing a block and sitting on it and giving your hips a little bit more height, okay? So if this is you, if your hips are a little bit tight this morning, you go and prop your butt up on something. Otherwise, come to your comfortable, there we go, that's that word, seated position. And then we're just going to do some seated postures now. So the first thing we're going to do is a lovely little twist. Yes. So I want you to take your right hand behind the back. And you can actually have the arm right up against the spine to help support the back, because we want to be sitting up nice and tall. So gently drawing the tummy in and moving forward on the sit bones. And then left hand is going to come just above right knee. Right, so even here, it's feeling quite a lot for me. So just take it easy. So as you inhale, lift up. And then as you exhale, gently twist around to the right. So we're opening the chest up towards the right. Okay, so remember, this is good morning yoga, so your muscles haven't had a chance to warm up yet. This is why we're doing it. So take it easy. We can use the left hand on the right knee to act as a lever to help us twist. And we can also roll the right shoulder back to work into that right shoulder, right pec as well. But it's more important to keep the breath steady, so if you notice you're really struggling to breathe in this twist, then relax the posture a little bit. Working into all the muscles in the back. Okay, and then as you exhale, just come back to center, change sides. Left hand behind the back. You can have the arm right up against the spine to support the back. Right hand just above the left knee, you inhale, sit up nice and tall, and then you exhale, twist round to the left. Oof. So you can roll that left shoulder back and look back if that's appropriate, but even the neck probably might feel a bit tight. So feel free to just look sideways if that's more comfortable. And then using the right arm as a lever to help us rotate. Still trying to sit up nice and tall, so avoid leaning back. So good for our posture here as well. And very gently waking the core up. So the core's having to work quite hard to keep the back in the upright position it's in. Okay, and then exhale, just come back to the center. All right, give your body a shake. Lovely, lovely jubbly. And who says that? And now we're going to be doing a little side stretch. So this looks like it shouldn't be a lot, but I tell you what, it is quite a gnarly posture. So from your seated position, what we're going to do is we're going to see if we can place the right forearm down by the right hip. Okay, all right, so it doesn't look like much, but you give it a go. Now, as you place the right forearm down, elbow is just sort of like lined up with that hip, your left butt cheek is going to want to pop up off the floor. The effort of the posture is trying to root the left sit bone down as you have the forearm down. So we've got the left bum cheek connected, and already just in this position here, you're going to feel this marvellous stretch from your left hip travelling up the side body, okay? Now if this is too much, or if you can't keep left sit bone down, what I want you to do is come up onto your right hand instead. So there's no shame in just having that arm straight, alright? Otherwise, right forearm is down, left butt cheek is down, And then don't collapse down into right shoulder. So press down through the forearm, keep the shoulder nice and strong. And then as you inhale, left arm is coming up and over your ear. Now you can look straight forward unless if you've got a bit of a sore neck, look straight forward. Otherwise, turn and look up towards the ceiling. Yes, looks like it should be easy, feels like a little bit like hell. But a good kind of hell. So this is a huge stretch, starting from the left hip, traveling up the left side body, all the way up the left arm, and then press down through the right hand or the right forearm. So also starting to wake right shoulder up. Keep the breath nice and slow. And then the effort of the posture, like I said, is to try and root that left sit bone down. So don't let the left butt cheek lift. Now you're taking a couple more breaths here. And then as you inhale, here's the fun part. Are you ready for it? Push yourself back up to seated. Okay. Ooh, I said it before, side stretches make me quite emotional. Maybe I store emotions in my obliques. Right, other side. So now popping down onto the left forearm. Just remember one side might be a little bit tighter than the other. Now if forearm isn't comfortable, feel free to come up onto left hand instead. And then see if you can really root down through that right hip. You can actually take your hand in your hip crease and press it down if you feel like that's going to help. Now left shoulder is strong, so not sinking down, so keeping the integrity in that area. And then as you inhale, right arm up and over, looking straight forward or gently turning the head and looking up towards the ceiling. All right, lovely stretch. Quite an intense stretch, starting from right hip all the way up to right fingers. Keep rooting down through right sit bone. A few more moments. So really keeping that right hand strong as well. So no floppy sort of right arms. Okay, and then inhale very slowly coming up. Make whatever sort of noises you want. Alright, that side wasn't too bad for me, and then give your body a shake. So we've got a couple more things to do from seated, and then shoulder openers. So again, this might be where you want your towel or your dressing gown cord, because there are a couple of binds we can catch here. So I'm going to turn to face the back of the room. Alright, so in your seated position, the first thing we're going to do is you're going to place your left hand on your left knee. Then as you inhale, extend the right arm up. And then exhale, bend the right elbow and see if you can place the hand in between the shoulder blades. Hello, shoulders. So, if your right hand isn't coming anywhere near the shoulder blades, you can actually just place it on the back of the head, same thing. Either way, we're using the hand against the back of the head or the shoulders to press the right elbow back. Something popped out there. Don't do what I just done. So gently press the right elbow back, okay? So eventually looking to create a gap between the right elbow and the back of the head. Left hand's just rested on the knee, sit up nice and tall. And then we're looking straight forward, so another thing that tends to happen here is people start like curving in the neck, but keep the neck nice and long. Really working into this right shoulder, another area that is super tight, especially in the mornings. So if you need a little bit of a helping hand with this, I want you to take your left fingers to your right elbow, and you can just use it to nudge the right hand down. And we'll hold it here just for a couple more deep breaths. And then take the hands away from the right elbow if they're there. And then very slowly as you inhale, right arm up. And then just release right hand down. All right, give that shoulder a shake. My shoulders get very tight. Other side, right hand onto right knee, okay? So as you inhale, well, first of all, sit up nice and tall. Use your block to prop your butt up if you need to. And then inhale, left arm up. And then exhale, bend at the left elbow, and we're taking the hands either in between the shoulder blades or to the back of the head if that feels a bit too intense this morning. I'm trying to create a gap between the left elbow and the back of the head. So using the hand against the back of the head or the shoulders to press. So you're pressing the hand into wherever it is, just to ease left shoulder back. And again, if you want a little bit of a helping hand, feel free to right fingertips to left elbow to nudge it down. And then keeping the neck long, looking forward. And noticing which side feels a bit tighter than the other. Okay, then remove right fingers, and then as you inhale, left arm up. And then as you exhale, left hand down. All right, give your shoulders a shake. I don't know what I'm doing. It's like, if your shoulders a shake, like I'm gonna take off. All right, so we are gonna do another shoulder opener. So many shoulder openers. So I'm gonna turn to face the back again so you can see what I'm doing. Now, if you're right-handed, we're gonna start with the tricky side. So obviously if you're right-handed, you're gonna be more dominant with this right shoulder and it's gonna come forward more, which means taking it back is gonna feel a little bit more challenging. So really interesting to start to note the differences, especially within this posture. So come to your seated position. From here, we are going to roll the right shoulder back and then feed the arm up the back, palm facing away. All right? So again, if your shoulders are tight, you can just take the hand lower. All right? As the shoulder starts opening, we're really trying to feed it up to get the hand sort of between the shoulder blade area. And this is quite an intense little stretch actually. All right, so again, we're using the hand against the back to draw right shoulder back. Left hand can just come to the left knee. Not the most comfortable position for the hand, but I'm sure you're doing a lovely job. Nice slow breaths, neck long. So it's a bit early doors for this, but if you have the room, you can reach the left arm round and see if you can take hold of the right elbow, okay? If that's not happening, just leave the left hand on the knee. Holding it here. Okay, and then if you have the elbow, release, and then very slowly just release right arm down and give that shoulder a little bit of a shake. All right, so let's change sides. So we started with the tricky one first if you're right-handed. So this side hopefully will feel a little bit easier. So now roll left shoulder back, and then see if you can feed left arm up the back, high or low, palm facing away, and use the hand to press into the back to draw left shoulder back. A lot of backs. Okay, already you might notice a huge difference, you might not, but just keep the posture proper as well. So keep moving forward on the sit bones. If you notice yourself rounded in the back, it's going to make it harder. So see if you can sit up nice and tall, and then your option, if your shoulder, you can take the right hand round, take hold of the left elbow. Otherwise, just leave the right fingers on the right knee. Sitting up nice and tall. See, my legs are shaking even in this position, so it's funny how tight we get, especially sleeping overnight. And then if you've got the elbow, just release, and then exhale, just release that hand down and give your shoulders a shake. Lovely. So now we're coming up into all fours. And just take a moment, have a drink, grab a mouthful of coffee, give your shoulders a shake, your arms a shake. Do what I do, try and take off. And then we're coming into all fours. So fingers spread underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. I am absolutely 100% obsessed with cat cows, so we're going to be doing some cat cows. Just a really lovely way to stretch into the muscles in the spine. So as you inhale, lift the hips, lift the chest, look forward. Now remember, you might not move as deep this morning because we've just woken up. And then as you exhale, tuck the hips under, drop the head, round the back. So inhale, lifts the hips, lifts the chest, little back bend here, squeezing the shoulder blades together gently. And then your exhale round. So chin to chest, push into the hands and feel that stretch come into the upper back and shoulders. So taking a couple of rounds of this now, using your own breath. Okay, so the movements are quite slow and controlled. We're not rushing through this. Sort of feeling the spine unravel as we make our way through this posture. You might even feel a few clicks, a few crunches. Again, totally okay as long as there's no pain. And this is sort of another posture I could probably do for half an hour. But we'll just take a couple more rounds of this. I won't have you doing cat-cows for the next 20 minutes. Okay. And then no rush at the end of your next exhale, just come to a flat back. And we're going to come into child's pose. So feet together, knees as wide as the mat. Now sink your bum down as far as possible towards your heels. And then from there, maybe you lower the body down. Forehead to mat. You can stay upright if that's more comfortable. And just like we started, when we started this class with our feet together and knees falling out wide, this is a very similar posture. So passively working into the hips, the groin, lower back. And then you're very, very welcome to stay here, or we can bring a little shoulder stretch into it. So if you wanted to bring a shoulder stretch into this child's pose, what you're going to do is you are going to thread your right arm underneath the left and then lay your right cheek on the floor. Okay, so it looks a little bit something like this. So your feet are still together, your knees are wide, but your right arm is just threaded underneath the left. And we're looking left, and you're going to hopefully feel this lovely stretch in your right shoulder. So I've already worked with the shoulders a bit. And then this is a really passive posture, but if you did want to make it a little bit more challenging, you just crawl your left fingertips forward and then draw your left armpit down towards the floor. So it increases the stretch in the right shoulder. Taking a few deep breaths here. And then just unthread that right arm, take the right arm back to centre, and we'll do the same thing the other side. So threading the left arm underneath the right, left cheek on the floor, looking right. Maybe crawling right fingertips forward and then drawing right armpit down towards the floor. And then we're still trying to keep the bum and the heels as close together as possible. Okay, and then unthread your arms. Just come back to child's pose for a second. So both arms straight, forehead down. And then inhale, come up into all fours like a potato in child's pose. Alright, so, oh, that was lovely. We could just do that all again. I'm just bigging myself up. That was a lovely, lovely class, lovely half class. And we are going to pick the pace up just a little bit now. We're going to come into some downward dog. So, fingers spread underneath your shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Tuck your toes, send your hips up and back, and then come into whatever version of downward dog you're working with. Definitely didn't change out of my pyjama bottoms. So you can bend the knees as much as you need to here, the legs don't have to be straight. But we do want the arms to be as straight as possible, and we want the head to relax. So don't look forward, if anything we're looking back between our thighs, and then just for this first downward dog, pedal one heel down then the other. So the heels don't have to touch the floor, but that's the direction they're moving in. Now make the pedaling slow, just like our cat-cows, guiding the movement with the breath. And feeling that stretch come into the back of the legs, ankles, calves, hamstrings.
lower back. And we've got the added benefit of also starting to strengthen into the shoulders. So there's a little bit of strength in the upper body here. Now, as you take your heel down, you can also push your hip back, starts to draw a stretch towards the glute. Okay, taking a couple more rounds of this. Okay, and then from here, stop pedaling, and then just come down into all fours. So we'll put a little child's pose in between these downward dogs. So this time, if possible, feet and knees together. Sink the bum towards the heels, arms out in front. Now, if this hurts your knees or if it's uncomfortable to have feet and knees together, feel free to separate the knees. But if you can, keep them together. Lower the body down. So with this version of child's pose, it's slightly different to the wide leg version. Starts to bring a stretch more into the hip flexors, quads. Still trying to keep the bum quite close to the heels. And then as you inhale, make your way back up into all fours. All right, so we're going to do downward dog again. Fingers spread, feet hip width apart and parallel. Tucking your toes and sending your hips up and back. And this time we're not going to be pedaling the heels, just coming into downward dog itself. So feel free to bend the knees if you need to. Head relaxes. And we're drawing the thighs to the back of the room. And if possible, just seeing if we can tilt the bum up towards the ceiling. So if this feels like a little bit brutal compared to your normal downward dogs, again, it's early. So don't beat yourself up. Just do your best. And then keep the breath steady and even. So still trying to keep the inhales and exhales equal in length. And then if there's a gap underneath your fingers, press that gap down, because we're trying to share the weight between the fingers and the palms. So if there's like a gap underneath your fingers, you're probably bearing too much weight down into the wrists. So in downward dog, there's a real press up. Okay, a few more breaths here. And then as you exhale, back down onto your knees, all right? So if possible, again, feet, knees together, forehead down, and this time, take the arms either side of the body and let the shoulders just relax. So shoulders dropping down towards the floor. Usually we think they're relaxed, but they're not. So usually there's always a bit of like leftover tension in them. So really let them flop. You can give your wrists a wriggle if the downward dogs felt a little bit wristy, and they do for a little while. And then inhale, come back up into all fours. So this one's a little bit brutal, not gonna lie. I'm just gonna throw quite a strong, like, little hip posture in. So if you need to not do it, you don't have to do it. You can go and start your breakfast or do whatever you want. Otherwise, if you fancy a little bit of a hip opener, fingers spread underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. We're gonna send our hips up and back again, and we're gonna come up into downward dog. All right, so the last time we're gonna do this. Okay, so feet hip width apart and parallel. Now from here, as you inhale, we're going to just raise the right leg off the floor. So it doesn't have to be very high, just high enough for us to exhale. See if we can step the right foot somewhere towards the outside of the right hand. Okay, or you can drag it up, you can do that as well. Either way, the right foot is going to end up on the outside of the right hand. And then just drop your left heel in towards the centre of the mat. So now the left foot is flat on the floor. Definitely shouldn't have worn flares. But the left foot's flat, right foot's on the outside of the right hand, and now the right knee's bent somewhere over that ankle. So already you might be feeling quite a sort of big sensation in the top of your right leg. So we're opening up into the right hip. Now if you fancy a little bit more, you inhale, look forward, you exhale, just start to bend the elbows. It's very early for this, but maybe come down onto forearms and let the head go. So we're sinking down into the right hip. So just make sure that left foot stays grounded So we're pressing down through the outside edge of that left foot. Keeping the breath steady, sinking down. Just going to hold this for a few more breaths. Okay, and then if you're on your forearms or bent elbows, come up onto straight arms. And then we're just going to tuck the back toes, so the heels off the floor again. Press into the hands, a little bit of strength as we pick the back foot up and step into downward dog. All right, take a breath here before we do the other side. Push the thighs back. And let's move over to the left side. So as you inhale, left foot up, doesn't have to come very high, just high enough for you to exhale, step it to the outside of the left hand, or drag it. Left knee over ankle, and then just drop the right heel in towards the center of the mat, so the whole of the right foot's on the floor. Now already this is quite a deep hip opener, so feeling that sensation in the top of the left leg. But if you did want more, you can inhale, look forward, and exhale, sink down into the left hip. Again, noticing if one side feels different. Keeping the outside edge of that back foot, pressing down through. Don't know what I said there. Pressing into the ground. Again, leg shake is normal. Or at least it is for me. Trying to find a little position you can be still in. So a little piece of stillness in this posture. Head's relaxed. Few more moments. Okay, lovely. Then inhale, straighten the arms. Here's the fun part. Come back up onto that the right toe, so right heel's off the floor. Press into the hands and then just see if you can pick left foot back up into downward dog. Okay, hold your downward dogs just for a moment, drawing the thighs back, tilting the bum up towards the ceiling. And then from here, come down onto your knees again. Feet and knees together if possible. Sink your bum towards your heels, arms either side of the body, child's pose. Now from this child's pose, we're going to see if we can squeeze the shoulder blades together and interlace the hands behind the back. So we've done quite a bit with the shoulders today, so hopefully this isn't feeling too brutal. Now try and squeeze the shoulder blades together as much as possible, and then as you inhale, see if you can lift your hands away from your back. So they don't have to come very high at all. Just feeling that opening in the shoulders, the stretch across the chest. And then exhale, just let the hands come down, let the hands rest either side of the body, shoulders fall towards the floor. And then as you inhale, make your way up into all fours and then come into seated. All right, well done. We're nearly there. We've got a couple more postures to do. So we've done some stuff with the groin today, so we're going to see if we can come into a wide leg forward fold. Now, with the wide leg forward folds, you don't have to take your legs super duper wide, all right? Just as wide enough for you to feel the stretch come onto the inside of the thighs. Now we want both toes to face the ceiling, and we want to ground down through both heels. Now if you need a bit of support in this posture, if you feel like you're falling over, you can place the hands just behind the legs, okay, to support you. Or if you're feeling quite comfortable here, just place the hands in between the legs, fingers face forward. Okay, so we want a nice long spine here. And then we're working the toes back, already feeling that stretch in the groin, the hamstrings. Now it might be enough of a stretch as it is for you, which is absolutely perfect, but you can also fold forward in this. But before we fold forward, if you are doing that, I just want to let you know that as you fold forward, what tends to happen is the toes roll down to the floor. We don't want this. We want to always keep the legs engaged and the toes facing the ceiling, okay? Because then it's going to protect like your hamstring insertions. So if you fold forward and you notice the legs rolling in, there has to be some effort to keep them rolling back out. And we want both sit bones to be planted. So taking a breath here, Stay here if it's all getting a bit much, or you inhale and you exhale, crawl the fingertips forward. Don't let the toes start dropping down to the floor, okay? So we want the legs to be strong. We're still pressing down through the calves, rolling the thighs outward, and then you can come down onto forearms. I mean, it's very early, but if you're coming down onto forehead, or chin and chest, you go ahead and do that. But wherever you are, you just let the head go now, all right? And then just hold it here for some deep breaths. So big old groin stretch, opening up into the hips, the hamstrings. Again, very good posture. Any forward fold is a good posture for tight backs. And then relaxing any muscles we don't need, okay? So obviously we need the legs to be working, but we don't need the shoulders to be working. We don't need the biceps, triceps to be working. So the upper body is very sort of floppy here. Few more moments, doing really, really well. And then if you folded, very slowly, walk your hands back. And then you can use your hands to help push, scooch the knees together. I just clipped my ankles. And then come down onto your back and hug your knees into your chest, rock from side to side, amazing. All right, lovely. Very well done. So the last thing we're gonna do before just maybe doing a couple of little line twists for our back is we're gonna come into half happy baby. So this posture's fun. This posture is a huge hip and groin opener. So just extend your right leg down the mat. Extend your left leg down the mat, sorry. And then keep the left toes facing the ceiling. Now, if you need a bit more support for your back, feel free to have the left knee bent, all right? Now, just like the posture we done when we started, we're going to take hold of the right shin and draw the right shin in towards the body. Okay, so you can actually stay here if this next part doesn't look like something you want to do. I wouldn't blame you. But if possible, we're going to see if we can now take the outside of the right foot. Now, if you can't take hold of the outside of the right foot, you can take the ankle, or option, you can take the back of the right thigh instead. And then from here, as you inhale, we're going to extend the right foot up towards the ceiling, all right? So if you've got the back of the right thigh, it looks something more like this. That's okay, just see if you can keep the ankle over the knee. Now, it's very hard to pull the knee down, what I'm doing now, because, I'll just move over a bit, because my knee is like directly over my ribs. I don't want that, so use your left hand to press the right knee away. All right, so the right knee is coming out to the side of the body. So there's an external rotation in the right hip. Now keep your right ankle over the right knee as much as possible. Left hand to left hip, so we don't want to lean over to the right. So keep that left hip down, and then very gently we're just drawing the right knee down towards the floor, okay? So the arm is going to come on the inside of your right calf now, but the hand over time is on the outside of the right foot. And then it really is important to get that external rotation in the right hip. We do want the knee to be way out to the side of the body. Holding it here, few more breaths. So great way to get into the hips and the groin, and we've done a lot of prep for this now. So this is a posture that you do need to be warmed up to do. You don't really want to be doing it in the first 5 minutes of a yoga class. And then exhale very slowly, just release, and then straighten right leg, give your legs a shake. All right, let's do the other side. Okay, so now right leg straight, or you can have the knee bent if you need some more back support. And then just draw the left thigh in towards the body. Step number 1. Or you can see if you can reach the outside of the left foot, or you can take the back of the left thigh or the shin, wherever you can get a reach. And then we're extending the left thigh up towards the ceiling. Now this is what it looks like before I push the knee out to the side. So hard for me to draw that leg down. So take your right hand to just the inside of the left knee, and then gently use it to sort of push the left knee to the side of the body. Then try and get the ankle over the knee, right hand to right hip, and keep that right hip down. All right. And we're using some gentle pressure to ease left knee towards the floor. Nice, slow breaths, doing really well. Quite an intense posture. And then obviously we want the arm on the inside of the leg as well now. Okay, and then exhale, just release. Straighten both legs, give your legs a shake. Then hug your knees into your chest, rock from side to side, make circles. And the last thing we're going to do is just a little line twist, okay, for our backs. So your feet to the floor, feet and knees together. Take your arms out wide, palms down. Now you can also like goalpost the arms if you don't have the room to do that. Either way, feet and knees together, heels up towards the bum. For a gentler twist, keep your feet on the floor. If you want a deeper twist, pick your feet up off the floor a few inches. Take a big inhale here, then as you exhale, very leisurely, just let the legs fall over towards the right. They don't have to come anywhere near the floor, just as far as they want to fall. And then turn and look over your left shoulder and just keep that left shoulder down. So there's no effort anywhere now, just letting the legs relax. The legs don't have to stay together if they want to fall apart. Feeling the stretch come into lower back, maybe left hip, groin. Taking a few more breaths here, just really relaxing into it now. And then inhale back to centre, and then on the exhale, let the legs just fall over towards the left. The right shoulder, joys of the home practice. Again, relaxing into the posture and trying to keep that right shoulder down. My legs against the radiator here, which is quite nice. Okay, beautiful, then inhale back to centre. Now coming into, you've got a choice, you can come into Shavasana with the legs straight, arms either side of the body, palms up. You can have the legs bent. If you still want to work into the hips, if you feel like you want a bit more hip stuff, you can bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees fall out sideways. I don't really mind, I just think that you need to just find a position that you are comfortable in and that you can be still in for a couple of breaths. So some people here like to take some inhales through the nose and they like to sigh it out through the mouth. Now no one's watching, so you can sigh it out as much as you like. Other people just like to let their breath come back to normal. And again, you can close your eyes if that's more comfortable. Just giving the body a little bit of time to digest all the postures we've done and settle down after all the work we've put it through. Okay, now you can stay in Shavasana for as long as you like. So that's my gift to you, is a long Shavasana, so you can stay here. I recommend you staying here just for a couple of minutes, otherwise, if you're really ready to come out the posture, you can take a cat stretch, hug your knees into your chest, or do whatever you like. Alright, and we'll start whispering now, because I feel like everyone's still in Shavasana, so I need to whisper. Alright. Okay, we're crawling over. Thank you for joining me, everyone, and remember that this class is up all week, so keep coming back to it, and I hope you have a brilliant day. Brilliant day.